Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. I've been trying to make this video for a couple days now, but every time I start recording, I get kind of stuck with someone. Someone comes out on a boat or comes in on their boat or just comes by the docks and wants to talk. It's a very busy period here because they're doing a yacht club function, and everyone's been getting ready for it the last couple of days. And now it's hot. It's a very warm day on the boat right now. And I guess, I kind of want to talk about what does it mean? What does it mean to be on the boat? What does it mean to live aboard, to cruise aboard? What's the goal? What's the whole point? And what do you want out of it? Where's the channel going to go is one thing. And a lot of people, for a lot of people, especially the YouTube channels, it's all about the drone footage. 200 feet above the boat, there's a drone showing a picture of a pretty boat all alone in a bay with clear water, and the water goes down 10 feet and you see the coral reef, and that's great, but that's not what you see from the boat. And I don't want to live on a boat so that I can look at drone footage. So what's the point there? And the Caribbean's hot, so there's that. Good swimming, but what else is there? Ocean crossings, ocean passages. You go to the Bahamas, you go to the Caribbean, you're going to do a lot of ocean passages. And then there's crossing the Atlantic, go to the Med, the milk run on the Pacific, where you just kind of like cruise down to Mexico, go to Hawaii, or go wherever, go to Tahiti. Ocean sailing, and that's a big deal. That's not where I'm going. It's not what I'm looking for. So what am I looking for? Where are we going with this channel? It's not necessarily the Great Loop either. I love the idea of the Great Loop. I think that it's a doable thing. I don't know that I want to join the Great Loop Club and fly the Gold Burgee and do the whole thing. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But I think doing the loop is kind of a cool idea in my own way. I don't want to take a trawler. The loop is a trawler thing. You take a big trawler and you go from marina to marina and yacht club to yacht club, and you do the cocktails and you have the parties, and it's cool, but that's not what being on a boat is for me. So what is it? What is being on a boat for me? What is it all about? And for me, it's sitting in the cockpit on a rainy morning under a little shade, bimini cover, rain protection, drinking a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever, and messing with some rope maintenance, doing an eye splice or polishing some piece of gear. It's rowing a boat around a little bay, a skiff, the dinghy off of the boat. It's anchoring out and going to town. You anchor the sailboat out and you take the dinghy and you go to a little dockside bar or a dockside cafe. You go to a little town that has a used bookstore. That's what it's about. For me, and I'm not super attached to sails or motors or anything in particular, but it's not the act of sailing that I'm in love with here. I love sailing, it's great. It's not the act of motoring. I love motoring, it's great. I especially really love efficient engines and the gliding feel of a really well-designed displacement hull. There's a feel to it. Definitely feels different from powering on a plane with a 40 horsepower engine on a little 10-foot, 12-foot skiff or something, like ski boat stuff. That's all fun too. I don't do much of it. But that's what it is for me, is it's that relaxed coastal cruising, what they call gunk holing. But I think of it as a little bit more. Going and exploring the new neighborhoods. You don't have to move but 5 miles and you're in a completely new spot on the water. If you make 2 miles a day, that's fine. If you make 20, that's fine. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to switch anchorages every day. You can stay for 3 or 4 days. Probably shouldn't stay for 3 months. That's a little immobile. And that's where I feel like I'm different. I'm feeling a little stuck right now because we're doing the engine refit and we're in a marina. And I love the marina. I love the liveaboard situation in this marina. And I definitely would consider keeping the slip while we do cruising until we change regions. Excuse that's the radio. And I'm monitoring 16 because Pirate number 2 is out for sale and I need to be available as a dock hand. So that's where it's at. I want to cruise around. I don't care what the boat is so much. We have a boat that's perfect for it right now, but there are other boats that are perfect and perfectly different. It's not the space. It's just I want to anchor. I want to dinghy into town and find a cafe and a used bookstore, small, sea shanty concert, whatever, or just walk around a park. Maybe go to a gym and take a hot shower. It depends on how long that's been. There are compromises to living on a smaller sailboat or an older sailboat. I want to go swimming, and when it's cold, I don't want to go swimming. I want to sit in the cockpit covered up from the rain, nice and warm, drinking a warm liquid something. I want to, I want to grill on the back of the boat. That's my preferred method of cooking. Out of everything I've done in my entire life, a grill on the back of a cockpit of a boat is my favorite thing, hands down. Beats a smoker, beats just whatever. It's the best way to cook. Even if the menu can be limited, but I've made soup on a grill, so you do you. And that is what it's about. I think that's where we get into modernizing the seasteading concepts, like communities that live on the water, but not necessarily trying to build artificial islands in the middle of the ocean or get extraterritorial or something, just communities on the water. And mobile communities on the water. I think that's a really big deal. There are a lot of liveaboards who don't have mobile craft and vessels, and I think that's a shame. I think that it's probably, there's a room for a community social movement to make it possible for everyone to be mobile, on a boat, and that would be cool. But that's it. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with the blog, the video, the channel, whatever I'm doing. The Patreon is I want to work on that. I want to work on ways to make it better. This is probably the ideal situation to look at electric motors, electric upgrades for appliances and stuff, because you're on the hook. You're out away from the marina, but you're not out away from civilization. You don't have to go. You don't have to motor 80 miles to the next anchorage. Anchorages can be 5-10 miles apart. If you have a bad wind day and you have to motor, not that big a deal. Stuff like that. If you're running a troller displacement hole and you need to run a generator to keep your electric motor running for 3 hours, that's fine too, Short trips, coastal cruising, hanging out on the boat in simple comfort. That's the really big thing. And not being bound, not being tied up. Right now we're tied up because the marina we're at is too far away from any form of town, public transportation, or supplies for us to get rid of the car. So we can't get rid of the car. We really can't. The electric bike isn't going to cut it. It's 14 miles to the nearest grocery store. We're kind of out there. Can't get rid of the car yet. So we need to find a place or do the anchoring or just get out and start making the dinghy into the car. That's it. That's what I want to do. That is me and the channel. I want to talk about Coastal cruising, coastal cruise aboard life in skinny water. Not ocean crossings. We might get there. Next year might be next year. We may end up, I don't know, in Colombia in 3 years. Don't hold me to this. But for right now, that's it. Stay sideways.